It's Two Sheds Gabby back for another penny hunt. It's storming outside and monsoon raining. Thought this would be a good time to sit back and start on my box of pennies I just picked up. I went through them and I got a really nice looking weedy ender. It's always fun to find those. That's a good looking one too. Probably a 58D, but that's okay. That's number one. Anyway, also, I was at a coin machine and I found some coins, and one of them is a 43 steel. That's like the third one that I've found in the last year, whatever, so many months. But that was fun to find that. I'll go ahead and get this first roll open and we'll just get started right away. That's a nice looking weedy there. Let's see what we got. 54D, okay. Weedy number one. As most of you know, my goal when I go through a box of pennies is I hope to exceed 3 pounds of copper and get 10 wheat and, hopefully a handful of Canadian copper ones as well. If I do that, look at that wheat penny number 2. That's nice. What a good way to start. Not quite as good a condition, but that's okay. And if I get those things, I feel like I've had a pretty successful box of pennies. Anything, above and beyond that is just gravy. I saw that copper has dropped back just a little bit more. It had gotten up to 2.97 each value of each penny, and it has dropped down to 2.9 cents. Common thing for commodities, as they go up, they'll draw back a little, then go up a little more, then draw back a little. It's just the way it is. No biggie. I hope it don't drop down to under 2.5 cents again. Hopefully it's steadily enough that it'll stay above that. I'm looking forward to hitting that 3 cent mark. I was hoping it was going to do that last week, but it didn't. Copper seems pretty good so far in this first row. I'm a caregiver to a family member in hospice care, and they just haven't been able to get him comfortable. And that's the goal in hospice, for the patient to stay comfortable. So they've decided to come and get him and take him to the hospital and get IV in him and do whatever it takes to get him comfortable, hoping to get him regulated and then back here with us, but we'll just see what happens. I'm now in the third roll, and here is my first Canadian copper, a 1966. That's a nice, fun find. Maybe we'll get some good finds in this box. That'd be pretty cool. The last few boxes I've gotten, I have fallen shy of the 3 pounds. The last box was just barely shy by 1 ounce, but shy still. And hopefully this box will exceed the 3 pounds. That'd be great. 83. We'll weigh that fella. No. I'm going to pull up a picture here and show you. This was in the national news a few weeks ago. Does any of y'all remember this? I just can't imagine that poor. It was a female truck driver. There's another Canadian. Look at that. 79. Very cool. I like rolls that have multiple coins like that. Anyway, it was a refrigerator truck, and they say that that's what saved her life. There was enough extra hoses and lines to keep the tractor part of the vehicle from coming apart from the trailer and falling into the Ohio River. Tragic. Apparently a pickup truck or something had stalled and she was dodging it or something like that. How scary that must have been. Anyway, just a few blocks away from this bridge, I-65 crosses over the Ohio River from Louisville into Jeffersonville, Indiana. And that's, that's the main bridge. I'll get that later. And, oh, look at that, another wheat penny. Man, oh man, that's really neat. What do we got? Oh, it looks old. Oh, golly, is that 1930 something? I'll have to look at it closer. Oh, goodness. I don't know. I'll get it under the Tom Love and see if I can figure it out, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to figure that one out or not. That's a mess. It is 3 wheat pennies, but it's pretty rough. Anyway, the I-65 bridge is the main bridge across from Louisville into Indiana. Another 83. And they built a new one so that there's now a new bridge that goes northbound, and the older bridge that went across for I-65 is the southbound, and they put a toll on it, and it's now pushing $5 unless you have the the sticker, then it's half price. Still, but the bridge that you see there where the accident happened, there is no toll, so it's a lot heavier traffic now. Me and my wife have love this bridge. It's the 2nd Street Bridge, and they just completed a couple years ago, redoing it, repainting it, and it's just it was getting in rough shape. It's 100 years old, but the color they've painted it, my wife and I have nicknamed it. We call it the Butter Bridge, and it's a really attractive old bridge. We like it a lot, but that's the one that you can cross now to avoid paying the toll. And we just like that bridge a lot. Love the old designs. Oh, 82. After putting it under my Tom Love and looking at it, I think maybe it's a 1917. It's pretty rough for sure. But that is wheat penny number 3. Well, this is the 12th roll, and this is the 3rd Canadian copper. All of them, the older ones, they're slightly heavier than the newer ones. Number 3 of those, cool beans. Might weigh that in a second. I've had several rolls that only had 3 or 4 copper pennies in it, so I may struggle again to get the 3 pounds. I mean, I've had some rolls that had 12, 11, 12. We'll see. Well, there's another wheat penny. I believe that's number 4, and this one's kind of rough too. Can you read that? 52, I believe. Yeah, 52, D. Huh. Pretty rough. My wife and I just got back from a late lunch. The person we cared for just hasn't been doing well, so they came and got him and took him back to the hospital. And so we took the opportunity, since we hadn't been out of the house together in a while, to go get us something to eat. There's another one of those fingerprint coins. We went to Texas Roadhouse and got us a steak. Pretty good stuff. Service was very good. Every time we go there, the service is always really good. This is the 20th roll, and look at that. Man, that is a nice one. I'd like to find one like that every time I open a box. It is a 58D, but golly, that's nice. I think I'm just going to hold that one out of the hoard. I mean, even in my common wheat pennies, I'm not going to just put it in the rolls like I do with the others. I'll keep this one separate. That's awfully nice. Pretty cool. Oh, I think that says 70 something. Let's weigh it, shall we? I thought that was copper. Years ago, when my older brother was still with us, he was involved in a multi-level marketing business, and he was talking to this good old boy. He was from down in Edmonson County, Kentucky, and he was talking to him about this business, and the fella said, "I don't buy or sell, I just work and trade," which I thought was pretty funny at the time. But I have witnessed this trading that they're talking about. These fellas, they work their jobs, whatever they happen to be, and then on weekends, they trade. And man, are they serious about it. I was living for a couple of years in eastern Kentucky in Montgomery County, and there was a big flea market over there, and we went over there occasionally. Oh my goodness, these guys would come around, and that's all they did was deal and trade. They would trade knives and guns, 72S, that's a nice one, and dogs, and everything in between. They were some serious traders. There's a 2009, that's my second one. The first one was the old cottage, and this is the unfinished dome. But if you've never witnessed these fellas trading, it's some serious business. It sure is. I don't buy or sell, I just work and trade. If you're a trader, I understand. I've seen it, and it's kind of fun to watch them at it, as they really get into it. Well, I'm halfway through the box now, and this is the first roll. In the second half, I have 5 Wheaties, so hopefully this half will get me 5 more. I got 3 copper pennies, 82. So what do you think about love at first sight? I'm not sure what I think, but when I was a teenager, I was walking into a convenience store. You know, most of the convenience stores have the double doors. And as I was walking in, there was this other girl, teenage girl, walking out, and we caught each other's eye, and I was immediately attracted to her, and she said it was the same. I just turned right around and followed her right back out and asked her name, another 82. And I'm telling you, that night we was going out, we just clicked. It was wild. But we dated a little bit, but she had already, her family was moving to California, so it was already a done deal, and I wasn't going to go out there at the time. So that was that. But it's funny because over the years, I had 4 girlfriends move to California. I was starting to have a thing about California. But I guess California is the place you ought to be, so they loaded up their trucks and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is. I had another girlfriend that moved out there, and she tried to get me to move out there with her, and I considered it, but then I didn't. Then I heard it. A year or so later, she met another fellow, and they married. I just found a really nice 2009 memorial. This is the log cabin. This is the second one in this roll that I have found. So that's 4 of those now. I need another wheat penny. And I tell you, I don't think I'm in line for my 3 pounds either. I think I'm going to fall shy. Well, I'm sitting at just 10 rolls to go in this box. I'm still sitting on 5 wheat pennies. Haven't found one in a lot of rolls. Makes it hard to get that 10 goal. 74. There's one. All right, good. It's 6. 52D. Maybe we can find another one in this roll.
It's not strung right or something. Because when she uses it, it starts squinting.
He's kind of giving me the evil eye.
I don't remember if I've said this before, but when I was a youngster, we had a family farm. I believe my great-grandfather purchased it and then left it for my grandfather. And at one time it was 1,000 acres, but he gave off a couple of parcels to a couple of sons, and the rest of it, there was like 9 kids. And then the family took over. I think by the time it was in partially my dad's name and the rest of the family, there was 675 acres. And that's what I grew up spending my time there. I spent lots of time there as a youngster and hunting and just messing around. I loved it down there. I grew up a little bit more closer to suburb, where my parents, where my mom lives now. It's extremely suburb, but when I was a kid, it was mostly surrounded by woods and cornfields and such. That's what I grew up around. But anyway, the farm, the highest point on the farm was called Reedy Point. And there's an Indian graveyard, American Indian graveyard, up on top of that hill. And you could, they were old, and you could still kind of barely see where the mounds were. But it was said, one particular mound, that you could go to the foot of the mound at midnight when the moon was out, and you'd say, "Injun, Injun, what I ever do to you?" And he'd say, "Nothing at all." True story. I did enjoy hunting. Killed a lot of squirrels down there. Well, I did find something else. Just 3 rows to go, and I'm done. But here is another Canadian copper. Let's see what year we got. 1978. So it's 4 of those. I'd like to have gotten a few more, but that's all right. I'm still just at 6 wheat pennies. Speaking of my farm, I had an uncle that lived right down there on the edge of the farm. And early one morning, he heard a boom, boom. I thought, what in the world? So he went down into the bottoms, just runs along the side of the Green River, and he found somebody down there had gotten a hold of mortar shells and mortar launcher, and was, shooting at trees and stuff, blowing up trees. He was escorted off the property. Well, folks, I'm in the last row. Guess I'm not going to get my 10 wheat pennies this box. We'll see how close we get to 3 pounds. 82. I'm getting pretty high in my stack here. Getting pretty close to the ceiling. Just a few more, like 3 more rows maybe. And I'll be at the ceiling. I don't think I'm going to make it though, because I think we're going to be moving probably before I get quite that high. It's hard to say. Maybe we won't. That's the plan though. Well, let's see if we can get one more weedy in this row anyway. I miss going down to the farm. They sold it off some years back, quite a few years back. Much to my dismay, it wasn't any of my say in it. If I talk about it much, I get upset, so I don't talk about it a whole lot. It was a pretty frustrating situation, in my opinion. I'm going to look at that line going through that 0 a little closer in a minute. Today's Tuesday, toward the end of the day, and I'll get out Thursday and pick up my 2 boxes of halves and a box of pennies. And this week I have ordered a $500 $2 bills to go through, looking for star notes and things like that. That'll be fun. Well, I didn't get another wheat penny. I just ended with 6. It's not the best, but that's what I got. I will weigh out the 82s and put them in with today's copper, and I'll come back and see how close we got to 3 pounds. I don't think we got it. Well, it looks like that's an external thing. I was hoping it was like a die crack, but I don't think that's what that is. Too bad. Okay, it's reveal time. Let's see what we got. It don't feel like it. 2 pounds, almost 13 ounces. That might be enough to fill my box so I can seal it up for another 15 pounds. I hope it is. Let's find out. It's right at enough. This box is actually a couple of ounces, so oh goodness, I probably need another ounce to put in there. So I may look around and see if I got some coins in a jar. I may get a couple out to get this thing up there to the 15 pounds so I can seal it up. I think that's what I'll do. Right now I'm keeping my boxes of this year's copper under my desk, and there we have now 105 pounds sealed up for this year so far, and my goal is 260. I think I'm still doing okay. Well, you know, if I'm not going to be getting 3 pounds per box, it's just going to take a few more boxes to get my goal. I think I'm still well in line to do that. This box only got 6 wheat pennies. I got this 58D that's really, really in nice shape, so I thought I'd just kind of preserve it in that condition. I like that. And I got 4 Canadian coppers and a few other. Got a few of these that were real nice. Super good shape 2009s. Anyway, it's not bad. It's just not, you know, what I'm shooting for is the 10 wheat and 3 pounds, and I fell a little bit short of that. Not too bad. Not terrible, though. I believe that is it for this box, and we'll see you maybe with some $2 bills next time.